Another virtue that helps with depression, and again, this is not a silver bullet. It's not a panacea cure-all. It's not going to cure your depression overnight. These virtues are meant to work in tandem with other virtues, and you don't cultivate a virtue just overnight. You do so over a lengthy, long period of time. So the idea here is that you're not moving in the same direction you once were with depression and those ruts, right? But that you're moving in the opposite direction away from this. So for this video, I want to take a look at cheerfulness and gratitude, right? So interestingly, I think this go together, but interestingly, I wrote a paper about this, I think back in like 2018. I'll put the little thing up there for you. But I remember getting a referee report from one of the reviewers who had said, I really don't like this argument, but it's very well supported. Like it's very well argued. Basically, like it's right, but I don't like the results. And I think because it sort of mimics, unfortunately, that attitude towards if I just go around telling you, just be happy, right? Just knock yourself out of depression, right? So that is not the message I'm trying to send with either that paper or with any of these videos, but cultivating cheerfulness. And the argument I give in that paper is this, that going sadness, according to Aquinas, I root it in actual philosophy, that the opposite of sadness or sorrow is, of course, happiness or cheerfulness, right? And those are emotions. Now, emotions, interestingly, they're also called passions, which is, it shares a root word with the word passive. Emotions happen to you. You don't just choose to have them. I can't just make myself be joyous right now. However, I can put myself in a position to cultivate that habitually. So I can think, as I'm waking up, maybe sometimes I get into a rut of thinking, gosh, nobody loves me. I just feel just like a turd. I feel the worst. And, you could think of things for yourself, right? I don't have to tell you because you know exactly what I'm talking about. With that moment you wake up or maybe it's not when you wake up, it's when you go to bed, maybe it's throughout the day, but you feel that certain way. And then when that hits, that you have to recognize, understand what's happening, using that memory, that virtue from before, that instead of doing that habitually, right? Because I'm building habits, my actions define my habits, and my habits define my character. What kind of character do I want to have? Do I want to have a character of being woe is me? Or do I want to have a character of being a cheerful person? And that goes back to gratitude as well, right? So do I want to be, oh, woe is me, all these things are terrible in my life and I've got nothing going well for me? Or do I want to turn that around and think, man, life is actually pretty good, And there may not be a lot that's going well for you. There may not be a lot that you had to be grateful, but think back to what your parents would tell you. At least you have food on your plate, compared to people around the world, kids starving in Africa or something. You can find something in your life to be grateful for. The people in your life, the relationships in your life, the things that you have that you very well could not have some point. But both of those, cheerfulness tied and accompanied with gratitude, right? I can cultivate that sort of attitude in me that brings me out of those depths, not overnight, but does so in sustained motion towards something that's much better.